this comp.
Okay.
Rock and roll.
How you doing, man? Everything good?
Everything's good over here.
Nice. Nice.
How about you?
Yeah, yeah, things are good, man. Things are good. Um, hmm, what should we call it? I'm trying to think. Anything new? A relatively slow news week, huh?
Yeah, for a while.
I know.
Did you watch any of the investigative reporting on the Kirk shooting or anything?
I watched a little bit, um, but I have not been as keeping up at as normal.
Yeah, gotcha.
What? Tell me anything.
Yeah, that people are just going through the footage and finding issues with the angles and the caliber of the bullet and the exit wound or lack of one, where the blood comes from, how weird his wife was acting. Um, that was the main stuff. Just kind of,
Well, it seems like I don't know. It seems like the stars are aligning for this to like, duh, of course, be like a very professional job
mm-hmm,
with
mm-hmm,
many different people involved and many misdirections,
mm-hmm,
which to get the misdirections going, like, you got it like rehearsed and kind of planned. Um, yeah, obviously there's that old guy who was
mm-hmm,
in a very conspicuous way being removed from the place and being claimed to be the shooter while so everyone's focused on that while real shooter or shooters, are doing what they're doing.
mm-hmm,
Um, it seems like there's some shady stuff with, the alleged shooter and the FBI and stuff is not really, doesn't seem to be prioritizing getting to the bottom of it,
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
like all these anomalies, like
Yeah.
it's, I'm seeing like it being compared to JFK 2.0,
Mm-hmm.
you know. So I don't know. I know like Candace Owen has been doing a lot of stuff on it.
Yeah.
And but yeah, I have not been diving as deep as I sometimes might have in the past. But I'm open to ears, if you have anything that's stands out to you.
Um, I mean, it's all the stuff I already said. You know what I mean? It's not like any of it is corroborated. That the
Yeah.
Candace Owens did mention that some of the big guys in APAC were trying to get him on Team Israel, and he was like, nah, and they offered him a bunch of money and a trip
And
to
you turn it
Israel and stuff,
down.
and he turned it down
Yeah.
and stuff like that. And then but yeah, the other stuff was it's like a video that went viral, I think, over a day or two of a like a special ops soldier or something like that, and he's just breaking down a lot of the information and just questioning a lot of
Narrative.
the narrative and the yeah, there's just a bunch of really strange weird stuff, right?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, which I mean, one should expect at this point.
Yeah.
Um, something that was interesting yesterday, I was like doing my sunrise thing
Mm-hmm.
um, in Prospect Park, and this little cute little dog came up to me, and 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 then like the dog's owner was this younger girl. She was my guess is somewhere in her 20s.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and she like came over. She's like, "Sorry about the dog." I'm like, "No, it's totally cool. Don't worry about it." and I was giving myself like a lymphatic massage. And she was like, "Were you just doing a lymphatic massage?" And I was like, "Yeah." I'm like, "Wow!" Like, so I'm impressed that you knew what that was. I've never heard anyone guess it.
Hmm.
And she's like, I used to try to do that, but then I like was doing it in my neck, and then something happened with my neck,
Hmm.
and I got some sort of infection in my neck, in my ear. And so I went to the doctor, and I was like, "Oh, that's your first mistake." I
Hmm.
was like stay away from police and stay away from doctors,
Hmm.
you
Hmm.
know? and and she was like, "Yeah, they gave me like antibiotics for
Of
it."
course.
And I was like, "Oh God." And she's like, "Yeah." And she's like, and then next thing you know, like I took the antibiotics and it didn't get better, and it like went in my ear and got worse. And she's like, and then like and then I found out that antibiotics are really bad for your like gut microbiome and stuff,
Mm.
and and I was like, "Yes, yes." I'm like, they don't tell you that, but it's true. And she was like, "So I had to sleep sitting up, and then the fluid, like I guess, drained down, and
Yeah.
gravity took care of it."
Yeah.
And I was like, "Well, you were probably you have to do a lymphatic massage in the proper order.
Hmm.
If you don't do it in the proper order, it can lead to issues." And she's like, "Really?" And I started explaining to her why and showing her the proper order. And then, but the thing about the antibiotics just kicked us off into this long conversation about like big pharma, science, politics, and whatnot.
Yeah.
And I was basically like, saying how, whatever, like the thing I said to you many times, like how the left and the right in certain ways have switch sides.
Mm.
And like the left used to be very critical and skeptical of corporate power. Um, and now the left is, at least in certain instances, especially as it pertains to like big pharma, are like, the opposite, are just like completely in bed with big pharma, and it corrupts our ability to get good health care. And I was just, I don't know, I was almost like she was in, we're in Brooklyn. Uh, she's in her 20s. I'm expecting some sort of pushback,
Hmm.
but she wasn't pushing back, and
Yeah.
she and I don't know. And then I just started going on my like one of my rants, and I was like expecting her, waiting for her to be like this is crazy,
Hmm. Hmm.
this is anti-science, this is right wing, whatever, the usual names that one might call me. And but she wasn't, and she was just like, I don't know, she was like, seemed genuinely interested in what I was saying, and
Hmm.
was just like, damn, like you know a lot about this stuff,
Hmm.
and was just like kind of like, I don't know, seemed to like be enjoying like learning or hearing me go on about a lot of this stuff.
Hmm.
It was just like I was like very pleasantly surprised. I couldn't help but feel like, you know what? I guess in a lot of ways, I'm older now, and a lot of people I know are older. And so a lot of the people who I'm talking to, and I'm like,
Right, right. It's of your peer group. You know what I mean?
yeah, exactly.
Hmm.
And I was just like really feeling like, you know what? It's I guess it's like old, like white, upper middle class, people are all in lockstep agreement,
Hmm.
that whatever about politics, about big pharma, about all this shit. And I'm like, and it was just, I don't know, I was just like, because they're all just like fucking brainwashed by the Democrat propaganda machines.
Right.
And it was just so nice to like talk to a youngin who was, was just like not buying the corporate propaganda,
Yeah.
and like me was like, yeah, I always thought the left was supposed to be critical of corporate narratives, and I don't understand why, you know, like she was like, in the vaccine, she was like, and I was like, this is amazing. I don't know. It
Yeah.
was like,
Yeah.
it was really encouraging. Like, and then at some point she was like asking about Charlie Kirk. She's like, so what do you think about like Charlie Kirk and his death? I'm like, well, like obviously it's too early to tell for sure, but it really looks, and we don't have any direct evidence for this, but it really looks like Israel has the motive, and there's a lot of things lining up, and he arguably had the largest amount of influence among young conservatives, and that's like power is
And
the
or it was really, really growing. It was really, really
yeah.
growing. It
Mm-hmm.
was at like kind of an inflection point or something. You know.
One might say a turning point.
Oh Lord. Oh Jesus Christ.
Yeah, and I was like telling her this all going into it, and I don't know, and she was just like, "Huh, I didn't think of that,"
Mm-hmm.
and it was just like, that kind of makes some sense,
Yeah.
and I don't know, I was just so pleasantly surprised. I was like, you know what, like, I don't feel old, but I know I am not young anymore in years. But like most of the people I know, they're just like they've like really sold out, and they've really just bought it hook, line, and sinker these corporate narratives,
Mm-hmm.
but they just fall for the Democrat Republican bullshit, like most people I
Yes.
know, you
Yes.
know, and I don't know, Steph ran into this like guy we know in the neighborhood,
Mm-hmm.
actually the husband of that Pfizer lawyer that I told you that story
Okay.
about.
Right. Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
And she was talking to him, and he was like, oh, I see him outside, at sunrise with like no clothes on. He was like, he's pretty intense,
Mm.
and and was talking and was like, I don't know, I think he was like railing on RFK Jr. or something. And 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 I guess Steph was saying something like, "Oh, Josh sees things very differently than you," and he was just like, "But is Josh against science?"
Mm-hmm.
Like it's just so black and white to them.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you
Mm-hmm.
don't agree with the propaganda, of the Democratic Party or the Republican Party, then you're like against the science, you know.
Mm-hmm. Sure, of course. The
It,
truth. The
yeah,
truth,
the truth.
which
It was like,
is that's the stand-in for truth.
yeah, yeah. And he was like, would you like me to try to talk to Josh for you about this?
Yes, the answer should be yes.
I know.
And then you film that. Let's invite him to the podcast. Are you kidding me? Yes.
I know. I know.
Let's see if he fucking shows.
I know.
Because that look, hate him, love him, don't give a shit about Charlie Kirk. He was out there talking to people,
Mm-hmm.
right? That was his biggest crime,
Right.
and you can't do that, right? Like kind of the implication of what you're talking about, which I completely agree at, is like, you know, choose your side and then stay on it,
Yeah.
and you don't change horses midstream being like into the stream being you die,
Yeah.
and also don't like part of both sides part of choosing either side is that if you choose once you choose your side, it says the other side is evil, don't talk with
Yep.
them,
Yep.
just kill them.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And so the idea that you can talk with people, or like I was texting my friend MCAT this morning, and he was talking about Charlie Kirk, and because he had seen that viral video I had seen as well,
Mm-hmm.
and then talking about the Epstein files, and he was saying, well, if you're not if a person isn't saying what the fuck about the Epstein files right now, I don't know like what to do with them.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, and I was like, yeah, it's crazy that Trump and Epstein's were best friends for so long, you know,
Mhm.
and that was like that was like a hard. I could tell there's like resistance there about because he still likes Trump or something, right?
Okay. Okay.
And so if you're gonna, it's amazing that there's still a division or there's a resistance there. It's like,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
they were fucking really good friends for a long
Yeah.
time and did all of the crazy fucked up shit together, you know, but it's still hard once you've chosen that side
Yeah.
to get
Yeah.
off that side. Like it
Totally.
feels weird for me to be like, um, yeah, Candace Owens has some good points, you know,
Yeah. Yeah.
or who was the other one? Who's the other one who's been Tucker Carlson
Yeah.
just came out with his 9/11
I
documentary,
know. I
which I can't.
know.
I'm gonna watch it, but it sucks. It's
Me
only on
too.
his like his site or some shit like that. I don't even know how to get it. I'll figure it out
No, I think
eventually.
you go on YouTube and watch it.
Oh, I just seen a Reddit. I haven't even actually looked for it. I just saw a Reddit post that said, "Is there any way to see this documentary outside of like paying for it on his site or something?" So I was just going off of
Okay.
your
Okay.
site anyway, you know.
Okay.
Um, yeah, right. So once you choose your side, you got to stay on that side. Don't switch sides, and because the other side is evil, and you need to kill them.
Yeah.
And both,
Yeah.
and so this idea of like talking to people and letting somebody else have different opinions or a different opinion without it meaning we need to like kill them.
Yeah.
Like, wow, like, you know, that's it's like keeping everything so radicalized, you know what I mean? And it's
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
uh
Divided and
it,
conquered.
and that it gets linked to our identity
Yeah.
and being right and the science, right? Because on both sides they're going to say our side is the truth, we
Yeah.
have the real science,
Yeah.
we actually know what's up, we, you know, it's the truth, we're on this side. And just to wrap it up, that Foucault traces all of this, that power creates knowledge through the production of truth, and that it feeds into itself. They all invest in itself because once you have the truth, you can use that for power, and you're going to keep using this kind of, it's like a motor, like an engine. And so it's like, yeah, we all want to be right. We all want to have power, and we want to know who like the bad guys are, so that we know who to kill.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think it's Huxley who said the point of propaganda is to make one group of people think another group of people are not human beings.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
You know,
Yep.
and that's so that's why it's like tough for me. There are like certain issues I have an easier time talking about Democrats with, and some issues I have easier time talking to Republicans about. And because I'm heterodox, it's like I get perceived as some sort of one of the others by almost everyone.
Right.
But it's because I haven't chosen a side,
right.
Or I once maybe did, but no longer do. And I don't understand how people are still choosing the sides.
Yeah, me either.
I
was definitely more on the Democrat side, but now like I would never say, oh, I'm a Democrat. Like I just wouldn't. It's just not. It's like to there's just too much to criticize on both sides.
Yeah.
There's too much to criticize on both sides. If there was a side that I really did align with, okay, fine. And in the past, I certainly would have said I'm definitely more Democratic than conservative, and I probably still am. But would I say I'm a Democrat? No. These motherfuckers are fucking some of the most spineless fucking motherfuckers ever. It's just so crazy, man.
Yeah.
Good Lord. Oh my God.
Yeah. And I think once you leave the cult of choosing a side, either of the sides,
yeah,
then I think it's a lot easier to see through the bullshit. But
absolutely. And then you're going to notice that there are mechanisms to try to get us back onto a side.
Yeah.
They don't want that. They want you to choose a side. People will try and get us or me or you or a person to choose a side. They want to convince us, right? Let me talk to George. Let me
Yeah.
talk to him. Maybe I can
Yeah.
talk some sense into him, right?
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
can get him to see things right, the
Yeah.
right
Yeah.
way.
No, exactly.
There's mechanisms, right?
Mhm.
Um, to try and fold us to try and get people onto a certain side, and that's immediately right. Immediately, what the Charlie Kirk thing was used for on
Yeah.
both sides. The right is
Both
like,
sides.
oh yeah, he's like a transgender, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
The other side, oh, he's from a MAGA family. It's like that's the immediate most important thing is to
Yeah.
get is choose a side. Look,
Yeah.
choose a side.
Yeah.
And it's so intense. It's like if you don't choose one, both see if you don't choose a side, both sides are pissed at you, right?
Yeah.
Where if
Yeah.
you choose a
Yeah.
side, at least only one side's pissed at you now. But if
Right.
you don't choose a side, then both sides are pissed at you now.
Yep. Yep.
I guess I'm not being invited to any dinner parties this week.
I know. I know. Yeah, it's we won't be invited into polite society anytime soon if we keep this up.
And Kirk wanted the goddamn Epstein files released. You know what I mean? Like,
I know.
bro, I'm just gonna focus on that. Like, yeah, sure, yeah. He really wanted the Epstein files released, didn't he? That's if we really want to honor his memory, that should be something. That should be one of the things that we do.
Right. And that he
because
was
fuck, you want to know why? Because fuck Bill Clinton. Fuck all these motherfuckers. God damn it, this isn't just a take Trump down or some shit like that. Fuck all those motherfuckers. Fuck Stephen Hawking. Fuck Richard Dawkins.
Yeah.
Fuck beep boop guy who's on the fucking island, whatever it's Stephen Hawking. That feels good. Like fuck. Take the whole motherfucking thing down. That's fine. That's fine. Half the fucking DC has to like resign and live in shame. Fine. That's fine.
Yeah. I know. It's I got into like this brief heated debate with my dad. I saw him this
Matt
week.
Groening, or how the fuck
Great,
you
yeah.
say it?
Whatever. What? Yeah. Why? What about?
He was on the plane. He got a foot massage on the plane.
Ooh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Huh.
Do I want to go to a billionaire's private island where I'm going to like have sex and have drugs, get free drugs? Like, yeah. See you there.
I know.
It's like the oldest play in the book, or one of the oldest plays in the book, right? If prostitution is the oldest profession, then using prostitution for your benefit is like the second oldest.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
like,
yeah. No, it's true. It's true. And once you got video cameras, so you could film people doing it, that's
and you realize they don't care.
Yeah.
That doesn't make people not come to your parties.
Yeah.
They're like, hidden camera there. Cool. I'm still going to do it because I don't mind just now us being in the club together. Like all those cameras are saying like, hey, bro, we're in the club together now. Like, it's just a guarantee. We're just going to guarantee. I know we handshake it and you're at my party, but now we're going to put it in a contract. We're going to put it in a visual contract where now we're on the same team. And it's like, yeah, I knew that before I came. Of course. That's why I came here. I didn't come here to try and talk some sense into you. Pass the Tucci over here.
I know. Even fucking Noam Chomsky was part of it.
Fuck that bitch too.
I know. Fuck
he
him.
Didn't get laid enough. He's got his nose in a fucking book. And then you got some other like smart guy philanthropist like, here, come to my island and have sex with ladies. Oh, thank God. Oh, Lord. I'm so glad I studied linguistics and became famous. Thank you, God, for answering my prayer. Finally. Fucking finally. Holy shit.
Rogan said he was going to have Whitney Webb on the show at some point.
At some point. Yeah. Okay. I hope so. I hope so. Fuck
I
that
hope
bitch
so
too.
too.
But like, if he does, great, great. God, to have so much power and then to be such a retard that you can't use it. You
I
know, it's like
know.
it's a shame. You know, it's like he has so much fucking power,
I know.
and I really don't even think he realized it. I know he knows he's popular. He has an
Yeah,
ego and he's a human being. Right. But to not to wait, I'll just wait on the Whitney Webb thing.
I
And she's
know.
gonna get
I
killed
know.
yesterday.
I know. I know.
I'll just wait on it. Let's have the guy who can like fart really well. Come on,
I
you know he can fart
know.
happy birthday song. We'll get him on first. That's priority over Whitney Webb on the fucking show. Like
I
fuck.
know. Or like that guy Mike Baker, who is like that douchey CIA guy that he has come on like
Mm-hmm.
regularly.
Mm-hmm.
That is like Mister. I come and give the company line on every single
Oh, I
issue.
know. Yeah, the
It's like,
CIA doesn't
dude,
do anything. The
I
CIA,
know.
we don't do anything. Actually,
I
let me tell
know.
you something. When I joined the CIA, I was really surprised because we don't spy on anyone.
I know,
We
right?
don't
Like
spy on
what?
ourselves. We don't do counter agents. We don't look at Americans or anything. We basically fix cars. We basically fix used cars. People bring used cars
We're a
to the
body shop.
CIA and we fix them. It's like it's a great program too. I've learned a lot about fixing cars.
Ah, yes. uh, I know. It's but at least he like said he would after he's dropped her name a few different times and has made a lot of people be like, why the fuck doesn't he just have her on then? He
Yeah.
knows of her work. He has all these other people on who will cite her work. Like just bring her on so she could go for 3 hours deeply into everything, and I mean, but I feel like once you get that big, I feel like that Bill Hicks joke kind of comes into play,
Oh,
you know?
yes. Or see, I can't tell with him if it's something
Uh,
like, and of course I don't know. I'm not claiming to know. I
uh,
can't tell if they did something like that to him or if he's just a goddamn meathead. And you don't have to, and you don't have to. You can control it a different way. You can control it a different way. You don't have to tell him shit. You just control it a different way. Or you're like, you know, it depends how bought in he is to being popular, right? Because
yeah,
sometimes people get so they get so popular, like, look, if we have this person on, we're gonna drop ratings. You
yeah,
know, we're gonna lose viewership, and then they're like, oh, like okay, well,
yeah,
we
yeah,
can't do that. Some people that famous people. There's going to be a part of them that's going to think that way because that's how they fucking got famous in the first place.
yeah,
It's giving a
yeah,
shit about that
yeah.
stuff, you know.
Hmm.
So I can't tell. I can't tell if they had to take him into the room or if
Hmm.
all they have to say is like, "We'll lose sponsorship if you have this person on," and he's like, "Okay, fine, we'll just wait. We'll wait a
Yeah.
little longer and we'll see if maybe it changes in the future or something with the next administration or some shit like
Hmm.
that."
Hmm.
Right? You might be able to just kind of tug on his ego a little bit and get him to dance. That seems
Maybe
very likely to me. You know what I mean? He
that's
wants to
possible.
stay on the air, right? He wants to keep doing this. This is obviously something important to him, and I'm not judging. We're doing a podcast right now. I'm not
Yeah,
judging him
yeah,
for that.
yeah,
But when I hear this like teasing Whitney Webb bullshit or something, it's like, come on, no. Like, there's like 10 people you need to get on there right now
yeah,
who would
yeah,
all willingly do it.
yeah. Which is something I'd like us to do eventually. Like
Oh yeah, for sure.
have on people like her, like if we could get to be that, like, which is I feel like in some ways what Danny Jones tries to be, but and I like Danny Jones, but Danny Jones is
He's also too dumb.
yeah, exactly,
He's
exactly.
awesome. I love that fucking podcast.
No, I like it
But
too.
there is a self-admitted, just like Rogan, like I'm kind of dumb. Like I kind of don't get this
Yeah,
stuff. Like keep
yeah,
telling me more. And it's like
yeah,
um on the one hand, it's gotten us awesome information, but on the other hand, there is a it's not a lack of critical thinking because honestly, I see him critically think even about his own position, even about the information he's being given. You know, and just like the other guy, the little squirrely guy who consistently is like, you know, I wonder if some of the information I'm getting is on purpose to knock me off of the track. And
Yeah,
I wonder if
yeah,
I'm being
yeah.
co-opted and used by the intelligence system itself. And what can I
Uh-huh.
do to try to like battle that? There is some, I've seen them both question that and be aware of that, but it's still I think the squirrely guy is actually way more intelligent. The guy who's backed up by Peter Thiel. What's his name? The American cosmic guy.
Um,
Hold on, I'll look it up so I can
yeah.
say the name. American cosmic. Jesse Michaels. Jesse
Oh, okay,
Michaels,
okay.
who I think is awesome. He comes across as way more intelligent
Uh-huh.
than the other guy we're just talking about.
Dan Jones
Yeah,
or
Danny Jones, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
But yeah, there's like a and look, maybe it's just fear. Maybe it's just like, you know, I'm attempting to look under the veil, right?
Uh-huh.
And then you start like pulling up the veil, you're like, oh shit, never mind. Like, oh God, I
Yeah,
didn't want to see that. Kind of
right,
like,
right,
wait, this is actually real? Like this,
right. I
like,
know.
oh shit. Like, oh,
Yeah,
there's these
yeah.
like satanic networks that have
Mhm.
existed for thousands upon thousands of years.
Yeah,
And they just do whatever the fuck they want because they designed the fucking system like itself. Like, oh crap, it's like real, like, oh
yeah,
no,
yeah.
maybe I don't really want to look too hard in that
Right,
room. Like, I'll do
right.
enough where my podcast stays popular,
Yeah, 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 yeah.
but beyond that, I don't really want to die. I don't really want to get killed. I don't really want my
Yeah,
family to get blown up in a car
right.
bomb or some shit, like, which makes total sense. Which makes total sense.
Yeah. I know. I know that's the thing. That's the thing. As long as someone has kids,
Yeah.
it's
Oh
like,
yeah.
how are they not going to respond when you're like
Oh yeah.
torturing their children or threatening to torture their children or whatever everyone's got a weak spot,
Yes.
and I mean, you know, Max Blumenthal's, from the Gray Zone's been doing some great work on the Charlie Kirk stuff. And for example, and part of that, he has this source who's like some Trump insider that's basically like, yeah, Trump is afraid of Israel,
Of course. Absolutely. I saw that too.
and
Yeah.
so that kind of makes some sense and helps explain why, whether it's him or RFK Jr., they're willing to go so far, but then they stop. And it's like, well, because they know, it's like what you were saying, lift the veil, then you see it, and you're like, oh God. And it's like, if you've seen too much, then it's like, all right, now, like if you happen to be a witness at a crime, you're like, well, now we got to kill you. He's like,
Mm-hmm.
no, I'll never
Mm-hmm.
tell anyone. I'll never. It's like, no, no, we don't care. Like,
Yeah, no,
we're
that's
tying up loose ends. Like, but
yeah.
if I promise, it's like, no, no, no. 20 years from now,
Right.
like, you're going to be like, all right, maybe I can say something.
Exactly
It's like,
right.
no, no, no,
Yep.
it's not worth it. We'll just kill you.
Yeah.
And it's like the breakdown I had at the beginning of COVID, was like realizing like, oh my God, this is real.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Like, this is real. And I always thought it was real, but it was like an arm's length and was like a theory, and then realizing like, no, they're doing this. And now they're holding almost the entire world hostage.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe they can't do it forever, but they can do it for a little while, and I'm not sure what we can do. Like maybe we could organize or in some way communicate and then be like flash mob. We all go out at 3:28 p.m. and whatever and do something where we all just withdraw our money or whatever, some sort of
Or just a
right.
general strike. A
It's
general strike has
general.
always worked, right? A
Yeah,
general strike has always worked. It's
yeah,
an immense amount of work, but like it has always gotten people what they wanted. Yes. I mean,
yeah.
it's the
But
Fight Club thing. Like we're driving your buses and
yeah,
making your food
exactly,
and shit like that,
exactly. You know, we are the little people that do all your stuff and deliver your mail and laundry, and like, and the bottom line is, what are you going to do without us?
Yeah.
And I really do think big picture, that's what they're working towards, is they're working to remedy that. They're working to make the humans more obsolete so that if we do a general strike, they're like, we don't really care.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's all good.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we don't need you to make our stuff. We don't need you to ship our stuff. We don't need you to buy our stuff. We don't need you to pay taxes. Like, it's fine. Like, we've been waiting for you to just say, we're done and we're going to go on a general strike. We're like, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
You're all fired anyway. And now we don't need an
Well, it's the
excuse.
perfect excuse to bring in robots and AI. It's like,
Yeah,
oh, these
yeah,
humans won't work. So, you know, we didn't want to put in the capital. We waited as long as we could, but
yeah,
now they're striking. So now it's time to get our contract with, you know, Rich Tech Robotics or something like that.
yeah,
I bought a bunch of shares of them because I'm sure they're gonna. I think that's. I think it's one of the only solutions to something like fast food, which with inflation has become too expensive
yeah,
for people anymore.
yeah.
And you're going to need, like, McDonald's posted a loss in their last earnings in America, right? It's like, that's different.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And that's not going to stop. Inflation isn't going to stop, right? They
Yeah.
keep saying, "Oh, we're going to do things." Like, no. Eggs will be $20 soon. Like,
Yeah,
no. The only way is you're going to have, I think, robots. You're going to have robots making it. Either fast food and all that shit is going to go away, and maybe that will happen anyway. But in the interim, they're going to have to try to do something to make it so that they can control the prices more. And if you have a really solid robot workforce, you can do it. You can do it. You just don't want to put the money in if you don't have to. But if you're forced to, or you maybe slowly do it over time and kind of show the proof of concept or something, then okay, maybe. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's once humans get more and more phased out, it's going to get weird. And I think it's already happening. Like, I think it's just the beginning stages. It's like you know, you want to pull the tent off, but first you have to pull each spike out first, you know, so the tent is still intact, but it's like one by one pulling out spike by spike. And when all the spikes are finally out, then you can just, and the tent just flies off.
Well, and maybe, I mean, I'm reading this book called Tesla and the Pyramid, and it's a fictionalized book. It's not like a history book or anything. Okay. And one of the reasons I got it is I was reading a thread about the three body problem. Because I feel like there's something strange going on with that book. Yeah. I think it was some level of soft disclosure. I think it's way more than just like some random person wrote like a book. It's just the way it made me feel is the way it made me feel. Anyway, so Fred, somebody else mentioned this book that was just getting ready to come out. It just came out really recently. And they said that they had been hearing similar stuff about this book, that it's published by, they're essentially saying it's like an intelligence asset kind of situation. And it's published by a publisher called Monolith, who only has published one book, this book.
Really?
Called Tesla and the Pyramid. And one of the things, I'm about 60% of the way through it, and it finally started getting more exciting. And part of what they're saying is that there is part of what the elites know and hide is that approximately every 12,500 years, the Earth goes through a cataclysm that kills a shit ton of the people on the planet.
Yeah.
The cataclysm being that over time the North and South magnetic reverse, which isn't like, who cares, like that, like but they're saying that in this book or anything. They're saying that when that happens, actually it causes the earth to like shift, to like go clunk. And they have some actually really interesting reasons for that's happened about every 12,000 or every 12,500 years. This has happened over and over, and that the different giant megaliths that are older than that, it helps explain like where they were built, what they were pointed at, that at that time they would have been pointed at directly at the Leo constellation and stuff like that. That if you adjust it, and that we've got I think it's the Piri Race map where it's clearly it's like Antarctica, where it's like you can see the lot, like you can see
that ancient map that had
so it was before it was covered in ice. That's the idea. It was before it was covered in ice.
Yeah.
And so that one of their ideas that is that this is part of what the elites know.
Yeah.
Is that there is a huge cataclysm that happens every chunk of time, and you hide that. You don't want people to know that, so that you can maintain control. And and that makes a lot of sense to me, whether it's true or not. I think it's a great guess at what is it that is being, what is the knowledge that's being controlled or held back that you don't want to release? What is the knowledge that exists that you don't want people to know? That would definitely be something. Whether it's an alien visitor coming and you don't know whether they're going to blow you up or be chill, or some other third option, or whether there is kind of some type of repetitive cataclysm.
Cycle.
The cycle. You would not want, if you want to control people, you would not want that to be well known. You wouldn't, especially if you've hid this multiple times. If there's been like advanced civilizations that have been completely destroyed multiple times, and you've known this, and you have that information, like, oh my God, people will not be happy. That would be something people would not be happy to find out about.
And if we were going to try to think from their perspective, of the perspective of a grouping of ultra powerful people that have known about this for Lord knows how long, like how would they go about it? What would be their priorities? Like, would their priorities be to just tell everyone on the loudspeaker? Like in Three Body Problem, when the aliens are coming, like they just tell the world, like, hey, they're coming and they'll be here in, what was it, like
400 years or something? I don't remember. 200, 400 years. I don't
something like that. But everyone will be dead way before then. Yeah. But we're telling you, and you can all have your reaction and flip out if you want. It's like what? Like, I'm just saying, like, if like each family household, if you get some information about a stock or something, and you can make a shitload of money on it, but if you tell the whole world, then you make nothing.
Right, it won't work anymore.
Exactly. Yeah, it won't work anymore. It's like, what would you do?
Yeah,
and I think most people would think about their family or friends or their identity group or whatever. And so I think that the way they're handling it, I think that makes sense to me. Not that it's nice. Not that it's good.
I can understand it.
Yeah,
Yes, I can understand it. Of course, absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, and maybe you're trying to fix. Maybe you're legitimately trying to fix the fucking issue behind the scenes, right? Like that. Maybe that it's like the wall facer thing or something. It's like, look, we're also going to try and fix this shit in a way that our enemies won't be our enemies or whatever the fuck is, right? That the other side won't be able to know about, or to it could also come from a place of trying to fix it, trying to prevent that from happening, And I think that's where they're taking this book, that they're going to claim that the giant, how there's these giant pyramids in the Orion's Belt formation in so many different places around the world, that these were essentially like Tesla coils built to try and keep the to try and stabilize the earth, to try and keep the poles like locked into their spots or something like that. I think that's where they're taking it in the book.
Stability. For stability, yeah.
Yeah, and that when the last cataclysm happened 12,500 years ago, the most advanced culture on Earth was a seafaring culture known as the Atlanteans.
Yeah.
And that they, after the last cataclysm, they traveled around to try and respread the math, agriculture, how to build shit, and this level of scientific understanding.
Yeah.
Because everything just got rocked.
To plant seeds.
Yeah, exactly.
To plant seeds, to regrow everything.
And I think that's part of the seed they planted is, by the way, because how do you make a 12,500 year clock? You do it with your knowledge of astronomy, and you build monuments pointing at shit that help you measure, okay, this amount of time is happening. If you're going to try and track that, that's going to be one way that you're going to try and track it, is by by learning astronomy, tracking stars, tracking their movements. That's what the age of Aquarius and all this shit. It's like, that's what it's for. Otherwise it's pointless. But if you're using that to keep an accurate measurement of time, that works. Oh, you're a Leo, so you don't like vanilla ice cream. That's so obvious. Like, give me a fucking break. Give me a break. That's what it's some non-shit. Come on, give me a break. But if you're using that to track the procession of the as a calendar, that shit works. That shit fucking works. You don't need a watch. You don't need a watch. You don't need if you're trying to keep track of time, that will work.
Yeah, no, a watch is going to work to tell you what time it is for that day. And
but the watch's battery, right? It'll run out in 100 years or 50 years or whatever the fuck, right? It's going to run out.
Yeah. And that's all you need it for, so you don't care. But for those who are trying to keep track of time over like centuries or millennia, it's like, well, that's a whole different other story. And did you hear like that congressman, I imagine you heard about this, came out and said about these deep military bases or advanced civilization bases in the deep sea?
Yes.
That's come out like somewhat recently, that's
the Catherine Austin Fitts thing of the breakaway civilization.
The breakaway civilization.
Yeah, absolutely right.
So it seems like there's something to that, that whether it's aliens, interdimensional beings, or advanced civilizations from the past that we are not fully aware of, it's like all of these things, like, I think these things have to be considered. And I think the way that, say, like the pyramids, like the way like they're like, well, they were made in Egypt, whatever, 4,000 to 5,000 years ago or whatever. But it's like, no, actually, they once had this limestone covering, and that was eroded by rainfall, and there hasn't been rainfalls there since thousands of years before that. So that means the pyramids were made way before that. And there's this, and if you say that, it's like you said the vaccine was bad, and then they're just going to destroy you and cancel you. And it's like, why do they care about that? It's like, well, maybe they care about that is because maybe they're the ones who set everything up, and they've set up the narratives that we believe in. And if those narratives start falling apart, we start realizing something else is going on. And, and now, especially post-COVID, you have a lot more people that are, just like after 9/11, you have a lot more people that woke up and were like, what the fuck is going on? And like, 9/11 could not have happened the way they claimed, or COVID couldn't have happened the way it claimed. And now people start becoming open and receptive to ideas that otherwise they never would have been receptive to before, And I think like hearing about archaeology and all this, like the dating of when civilizations began, but then you have Göbekli Tepe, and shit like that predate a lot of this shit, and and you have to like call into question the timelines that were established,
Hmm.
you know, but there's still a resistance to that. Whereas like, why is there resistance? Like I understand there might be
Right, because
individuals.
because it would reveal, it would help to reveal what it would help to reveal something they don't want, right? And so
Yeah.
then as a part of the book was it was describing one of the early explorers who Western like explorers who was exploring the Great Pyramid, one of the first ones.
Okay.
And I looked it up here so I can just read it off. It's
Okay.
the story of Sir Siemens. When he got to the top of the Great Pyramid of Giza. So
Uh-huh.
when he was standing at the top, okay, he gets up, he has a bottle of wine. He opens the bottle of wine and goes to drink from it, and he gets an electric shock from the bottle and sees sparks off the top of the bottle.
Huh.
So yeah, this incident led to further exploration of the pyramid's top, where researchers have speculated about the presence of ancient Egyptian technology and possibility of harnessing electricity through the pyramid structure. That actually fucking happened.
Wow. I never heard about that.
Yeah, me either.
When was that roughly, or what does it say?
Let me see if I can.
Like 1300s or something?
No,
Or?
no, 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 no. Let's see. 1800s.
Oh, 1800s. Huh.
An Arab guy drew his attention to the fact that while standing on the summit of the pyramid with his hands outstretched, he could hear a sharp ringing noise. Raising his index finger, Siemens felt a prickling sensation. Later on, while sipping from some wine, he experienced a slight electric shock.
Huh.
Feeling that some further observations were in order, Siemens a moistened newspaper around the wine bottle, converting it into a Leyden jar. After he held it above his head for a while, this improvised Leyden jar became charged with electricity to such an extent that sparks began to fly.
Wow. Huh. Is that SIEM or something?
ENS,
Like that,
yes.
like the store?
Yes.
Hmm. Hmm. And who is he? What country was he from? What did he?
Britain. British inventor.
Yeah, that would have
And
been
and that's basically what Nikola Tesla he took that, and that's like what a Tesla coil is. That's like, and that's what Wardenclyffe Tower, that's what it was.
Mm-hmm.
It's a structure, and like you can look at you take the Great Pyramid of Giza and you look at like you cut it in half and you look at it from the side, then do that with Tesla's Wardenclyffe Tower. It's the same thing. The same, like these long tunnels into the ground, so that it connects to like reservoirs of like water and stuff like that. It's like the same thing. It's a giant Tesla coil. I mean, whatever you called it before him, I don't fucking know.
Yeah.
It does something. It does something electrical, you know?
Yeah.
And like, so, whoa, you know? And like, this is like how and why. There's so many different pages about this, but I never heard of this shit like that.
Yeah. I'd never
that
heard
seems
about
really
that.
important. And then that there's these underground huge underground halls and areas below the Sphinx and below the Great Pyramid of Giza. And have they gone in there? No, that's illegal.
Right. I know, that's wild. And did you see that Rogan had on that guy from Egypt? This guy who was like claiming to be an expert about this, and he went on. I was like, "Oh, cool! This guy's going to talk all about these structures they found underneath."
Yeah.
And he goes on, and he was just like laughing at it, and it was just like, "Ho ho ho!" and was like mocking it. And I was just, after a little while, I was like, "I'm turning this shit off." Yeah. And I didn't even watch, but then I found out later, like almost everyone had the same reaction. Everyone was like, "This guy is full of shit." And this guy was clearly sent there to be like, no, I live there. It's like the Douglas Murray thing.
Right,
Oh,
right.
you've never been, it's like, and that's like clearly how they want to keep us in our place, be like, you're not an expert. You're not qualified to talk on these things. It's like, yeah, I'm not an expert on things. I'm not claiming to be an expert, but like, hey, like, what's an expert? Like, what is an expert?
We didn't invent this. The
Mm-hmm.
most recent one, I can't remember that team that found the huge spaces underneath the pyramid, but with those were fucking experts. And then the Japanese team that did the LiDAR or whatever under the Sphinx, those are fucking experts. I mean, those are like, I'm not an expert, but they are. Like,
yes. Yes. I love it. You're on fire today.
Lord help us all. Like, gosh.
I know.
Yeah, no, it's like, if that's like the Great Hall of Records that was, created by this ancient but advanced Atlantean civilization, and it has all this knowledge in there, and it's like, yeah, by the way, every 12,500 years, the Earth does this crazy thing, and blah, 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 blah. It's like, yeah, shit, we don't, like, never mind. Like, nah, we're good. You don't, you want to maintain control, right? You want just things to kind of be the same as they were yesterday. That's kind of what you want. You kind of just want to maintain, if you want to make money in business, you want to kind of maintain the status quo, and you want to control the release of new information and new products and stuff like that, so that you can profit maximally off of it. It makes total sense why you would not want to just throw some crazy shit out there or something. You know what I mean? Like, no, because I can't profit off of it. It's too fast. You boil the frog slowly. You don't do it fucking fast.
Yeah. Exactly. But now it's like the water temperature is being increased a little bit more. It's still boiling us slowly, but it's like clearly getting raised a bit more. And I think that is because there's a desperation. I think that, they know people are catching on. And how do they keep people separated? How do they keep it so that this group does not exchange information with this group? Because if they exchange information, they'd start to understand, like, oh, okay, well, this clicks here, click, this it clicks here, click, and then, these different groups, their information starts, the symbiosis begins.
And I think I'm just playing around lately with something from hold on. What's his name? Okay, so Chris Bledsoe, and his experiences with the lady. Then the recent people. Hold on one second. The recent people who came out and said they were on the military teams that went to go pick up the egg, eggs. Both of them report, amongst plenty of other alien abductees. Let's assume 10% of them are actually telling the truth, right? Okay, that reporting this feeling of bliss that's used to control. And in this Tesla and the Pyramid book, that's one of the mechanisms that so there's essentially this shadow government that knows all of the stuff that we're talking about, and it has all this crazy advanced technology that they use to their benefit. And one of them is called the ring or the crown of Metatron. Okay. And it's this ring, this electronic ring, and they basically put it on people's heads, and it makes them feel unbelievable bliss and happiness, and then they're willing to tell all of their secrets. It's like it's like a sodium pentothal or something, right? But electronic. Okay. And so it's like, I'm playing also with this idea of the creation or use of brain stimulation to just bliss people out and just make them feel like great and wonderful, which is what Chris Bledsoe reports and what the egg guys report. That once they pick up this egg, they get this overwhelming, like positive feeling or something, you know, of like holiness or something. It convinces them that they're dealing with angels. It convinces them. Chris Bledsoe's book, it's called UFO of God. It's enough to convince people they're dealing with angels. And my only, which I fucking hope they're angels. Oh, Lord God. I hope these are fucking righteous, holy angels that want only the bliss and kindness of the creator God to spread throughout the universe. Or that's a genius way to control people. That's a genius. If you can send some electromagnetic waves and make somebody so blissed out that then they do whatever they want, or they're just incapacitated. They're just like on like ecstasy times 1,000 or something like that. That's also a great way to control people. It's also a great way. That's a great way. You can, it's like piss people off or bliss them out. It's like, what if you can control that?
Right.
For some people, it's going to be better for, you know, you want all the different ways. I want all the ways, you know?
Yeah.
So anyway, that's just been on my mind because of, I like how in this book they used it as not, this is just technologically brought about. And it convinces people it's such a strong experience that they're like, oh, this is holy, these are angels and stuff like that. Anyway, it's just so because if they're truly holy and like angels, it's like, yo, do something. But they're not doing anything. They're not helping me. They're not helping the earth. They're not like stopping wars. They're not like, yo, like prove it. It's like, you know, they abduct people and then make them feel all blissed out while they like do these experiments on them and then put them back in their bed. That's not holy.
But
that's a great way to control.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. It's like when the, you know, Pizarro or Cortez came and they wanted to subdue the indigenous people. They might wow them. They might do something to try to wow them, to let them know that.
Yeah, but what's even better? Opium. What's even better? Crack cocaine. What's even better, right?
Yeah.
And how many times do we do that? Tons.
Yeah.
Because it's hard to kill everybody. You need some slaves to make some shit. You know, you need some slaves. So give them opium and they'll show up, you know, to get their money, to go get their fix after work. They'll show up to work.
Right. That if the drug is addictive enough, it creates demand, and then people are going to need more of it. And then you're going to be the source of it. So you're going to become like their God.
Yeah.
You know, and to that addict.
Or fentanyl. Look at fentanyl now. It's the same thing now. God, you see those fucking videos of just like blocks long of just people just like doing the like
the zombie
thing, like they're just total zombified.
I know.
Oh shit.
I know. Well, and that's what Jack Kruse goes on about with the blue light. That the blue light is a form of doing that en masse, and that MK Ultra, you know, he said that when he was working in New Orleans, he somehow, you know, came into contact with different people that were insiders and picked their brains and found out that there were certain documents, you know, underground that he could get access to, but he couldn't take, but he could get access to look at them. And this was before cell phones. And basically he said that there were documents about MK Ultra, and MK Ultra, like most of us know about the drug experiments, but that the bigger deal with MK Ultra was the light. It was the blue light. And that they realized with blue light, they could basically weaken and sicken people and then make them more easy to control. and that basically the mafia, um, with Vegas, it was like, like Meyer Lansky and them were doing their own due diligence about like why is it that the casino at I'm talking about like early on with Vegas, uh, that there was like they would do good business up until late afternoon, early evening, and then it would thin out. And then, they started asking the people there, like, why do you guys all seem to leave around 4 or 5? And they're like, well, we go because there's no food here, so we want to get dinner, and then so that's when they started bringing the buffets in, and then they started bringing in all the blue light and all the uh, slot machines, and they started blacking out the windows. And so now you couldn't tell what time of day it was, and you just were flooded with blue light. And they used all of these different things together to make it so that then they can bring like scantily clad women to serve you drinks and free drinks. So now you never have to leave. You know, it's kind of like the idea of the 15-minute city. It's like you never have to leave here. Everything you need or could want will be in this little 15-minute radius, and you're not going to leave that 15-minute radius, you
Yes.
know? Um, so it's like a different way to control, uh, which it seems like that's if there are aliens and if they do this all over the place, or in enough places in the universe, then yeah, they probably prefer to keep things compartmentalized or staying in their lane, unless but they're probably built in all these tests, like drivers, the equivalents of like driver's tests. And once you finally pass that driver's test, it's like, okay, we'll give you a license now, we'll
Yeah.
let you drive.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean you're going to get access to the F-16 fighter jet, but you can drive a car,
Yeah.
and like one step at a time. And then after then maybe we'll talk about the F-16, and then we'll talk about
Yeah.
the time machine or the whatever, and we're just one of the many experiments that they have going on, you
Right.
know, and 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 then you have to start wondering about like Eastern philosophy and the wisdoms of Eastern philosophy that, I heard Alan Watts talking about, the other day that like we're all, like something like we're him and Ramdas talk about like we're all God and drag,
hmm
you know, and it's like there's this one consciousness, kind of
Yes.
great consciousness, and
Yes.
and and so most people were like, but how would that one consciousness manifest as each one of us and everything? And Alan Watts was like, it's like a centipede,
hmm
centipede's got 100 legs, but it works just fine, and one might think like, how could I move with 100 legs? It's like, well, that's what it does. It's like the centipede, just it goes effortlessly on 100 legs, and the 100 legs work harmoniously. And this one great being, just us, we're like the centipede's legs,
Yes.
and so you have to like,
And
you
each
know,
leg looks separate from the others.
yeah, yeah,
It looks like it's completely separate. But
yeah,
then you trace it back and you go, oh, it hits the
oh,
body right there.
yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
it is one thing, but the leg is here. I'm over here, you're over there. There is distance. It does seem separate. But then
yeah,
as you trace the source back, you go, oh, wait, it's from the same source. Oh, okay.
yeah.
Okay. All right, gotcha.
Exactly, exactly. So I think that like if you start factoring all these things in, like maybe there are different legs within the centipede that are doing different things or focusing on different things, but they're all connected to the same, like the powers that be that we're talking about, or even some of these aliens or potentially aliens, like they're all legs
Yes.
on this centipede,
Yes.
and we think we're all so separate. And in some ways, to some ways, maybe we are, but not in the way that we think, because we all do connect to this body
Yes.
in a way, and therefore the body must ultimately be wanting to like branch out and grow and manifest, but at the same time, um, how to plant many seeds, but in a way that they'll all grow, as opposed to just haphazardly just tossing a bunch of seeds and on concrete and they're just not going to grow.
Yes.
And we struggle to see it because it's hard for us to. We're down here, but if we go deep inside, we can
Yes.
kind of connect with it, Um, and I know a lot of people like, like the prickles and the goos, and this is kind
Yes.
of gooey, but it's like the goo is where you just kind of like feel and connect, and the prickly is when you're trying to make sense of it and explain it to others, and it's so ego driven
Yes.
that you want to be the expert. You want to be the king or to get the
Yes.
respect and the recognition. Whereas, I don't know, I think if you care less about that, you can become the seed dropped on concrete that finds its way to fertile ground. And you know what I'm saying? Like there's something there that like, like an intellectual says a simple thing in a complicated way, and an artist says a complicated thing in a simple way, and I've always considered myself more of an artist, and I recognize that, there are a lot of people who are the prickles, or more of the prickles, and they don't like the goos.
Right.
Where I think they're like each one of us is both, but the goo is part of the process. But I guess people understandably got punished for being gooey, and so they're like, I like when Douglas Murray went on and was like, you've never been, and like you're not an expert, and like that's his function to try to like shit on people like that. But it's like, dude, you're not even a fucking expert yourself.
Yeah.
You're being sent out here by, other sources and other forces, and you're not who you present yourself to be.
Right.
But it's a scary game because we get traumatized. We touch the stove and we get burned, and we don't want to touch the stove again. But then some of us are like, or we lift the veil and we see too much and we're like, oh my God. Like when I had that breakdown, I saw these visions and I was like, oh my God. And I wasn't ready for that shit. And it took me like a solid week or two to realize like I need to increase my capacity. I need to, because it was too much water. It was too much. It was just like spilling, and then it was saturated, and then it was just poured through, and I was like, I need to increase my capacity, which is what I've been working on, and it's not really easy. And sometimes it's downright like, I don't know, there's a lot of anxiety and fear and and it's like menacing, to think about. Like the 12,500 years. It's like, gee, when was that? It's like, that was about 12,400 and something years ago. And it's like, oh shit, this shit's coming soon. It's like, well, that's what it kind of looks like, But there could be this thing disrupting the loop that maybe was 12,500 years before, but now it's going to be a little bit different or something, like, and I think we have to be open that the powers that be, maybe they're a little more lost than they want to let on.
For sure.
And they don't want to let us know that, guys, we don't fucking know really what's going on. We can control a lot of people with things like 9/11 and COVID and shit like that, but like we don't have it all figured out.
Oh, for sure. Because it's going to be way too complex. There isn't a figuring it out. There isn't going to be like, let me tell you the secret of the universe in one sentence. Like, no, it's not. That's not going to happen. It's way too complex. It's way too complex, and we don't want it that way. Or or gooey people might be able to handle that, but prickly people are not going to be able to handle
Yeah,
that. I
exactly.
want the laws of the universe. I want who's good, who's bad,
Yeah.
and then let's be done. You know, like
Mhm.
I don't want a bunch of complex, intertwining, interdimensional, time traveling fucking answers. You know,
Mhm.
I don't want that. That's too hard to understand.
Mhm.
You know, we want a mythology that like is useful, that helps make things more palatable, that makes things more understandable. Oh, thunder, that's Zeus throwing a lightning bolt. Okay, cool, thanks for letting me know. I can like go on my day now, right? It's like
Mhm.
we don't want the myth, the myth of the world to make things more difficult to
Yeah.
understand. We want it to make it easy. We
Yeah.
want I'm good, you're bad, or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
We
Black and
want it to
white.
be simple. We want it to be a
Uh-huh.
storyline. We want it to be a story
Yeah.
that we can tell and understand.
Uh-huh. Exactly. Good versus evil. For my dad,
Right.
Israel is very
Right.
black and white.
Exactly.
It's good versus evil.
Just give me that. Just give me that. And
Hmm.
like as long as that basically fits with my confirmation bias, I
Yep.
won't even question you whether it's right or wrong.
Yeah.
I'm not
Exactly.
even going to worry about whether it's true or not. If that confirms with whatever with
Conforms.
conforms, thank you, conforms with my confirmation bias, then like yeah, then that's my history book. It's like I found my brand, right? It's
Yeah.
like,
Yeah. Yeah.
you know,
Exactly.
the Bill Hicks joke. Just make sure to get the cigarettes that say might have low birth weight. You know, it's like, I found my brand, you know, like find the ones that,
Yeah.
you just got to shop around, just shop around.
Yes.
Just
Yes.
don't get the lung cancer ones, you know?
No, man, it's and I guess like they've gotten good at what they're good at, so they stick with it,
Right,
and they
right, of
don't
course.
they don't really have many other tricks. And I think I was like telling you that Frau was like start dabbling in some card tricks,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't know anything about card tricks, and he was like doing it, and he was basically like, and this made sense to me. He's like, once you know how to do the card trick or a few card tricks, a lot of the other tricks are all based on
Yes.
similar
Oh,
concepts.
yeah.
And then it's very easy to tell what the trick is.
Yes.
You know, so think about it. Like if you like, because I know you can do some card tricks,
Yeah.
right?
Oh, I'm super
So,
interested in magic and magic tricks and how they're done and all that kind of stuff. Yes, without a
right?
doubt.
Because I feel like that's very like revealing about how all this stuff really works.
Yes.
Because I think it's probably like anything. There's just almost like most things. There's just kind of like a few tricks you gotta learn. Once you know those few tricks, you can kind of build off of those, and most things are built off of those few tricks.
Yes.
And
And the main one
mhm,
is you just the every single trick utilizes one thing that is the same no matter what it is. You lie straight to their fucking face.
mhm,
The patter is what sells the trick. That is what takes any trick that
mhm,
you have like a little kid do it and you're like, whatever. But then you give that same exact dumbass trick to a real magician and he will turn it into something so unbelievable, but it's through you lie. You're like, choose any card. That's a lie. I'm going to shuffle the cards. That's a fucking lie. Okay, I'm going to write down my thing. That's a fucking lie. The main thing is the line. You have to lead someone's awareness, and you can read it. You can lead it with lying. You can lead someone's awareness. That
uh-huh,
was the first. It was like super profound.
mhm.
It's like this is a coin trick I was shown by the great Scott
Okay.
in Austin, and I was asking him. I went to his magic shop. He and his wife were like retired magicians, and they ran a magic shop out of their garage at their
Mhm,
house in
mhm,
outside of Austin. Okay.
mhm.
And I was just a little kid, and so my mom took me there. Before you go, you had to call them to see if they were home. They weren't like business hours. It's
Yeah,
like, hey,
yeah,
are you
yeah.
home? Like, okay, I'm gonna come by.
Uh-huh.
So the first time I went, I go in and it's awesome. Just like the walls are just covered in magic tricks. It's so awesome. And he was a professional magician. And so I'm like, so what's the best trick to buy? And then he basically says what I just said. He's like, look, it's always the magician. It doesn't matter the trick. It doesn't matter. A professional magician can take the cheapest trick I've got here and turn it into an absolute miracle. And then he said, well, let me show you a really good trick that you can buy if you want it. Okay. And so he took his, well, you can't see it. He took his magic wand and he put his magic wand over here. And then he takes a coin. I wish it was silver. I wish there was something a little bit better than this, but
I can see the coin.
Anyway, so he goes, okay, so I'm going to throw the coin back and forth and try and see the flash as it goes from hand to hand. And then I get my magic wand, tap 1, 2, 3, and it's gone. It's gone. And then it's not in that hand either. And I'm like, oh damn, like I want that trick. How much is that trick? How much is that trick? And he said, okay, it's not a trick you can buy. I will teach you how to do the trick now. And so the idea is, as you're throwing it, eventually you tell them, watch as it goes through the air. You'll see it glint in the air. Watch for that flash. And so on the last one, you don't actually throw it. It's in my hand right here. I didn't actually throw it. I go and pick up my magic wand. I drop the coin there. And now I've gotten rid of it and it's not in either hand and it's gone. Okay. And what was amazing to me, and I've done this many times, you tell people, watch for that flash, watch for the flash in the air. And then you do the last fake throw and you go and trade off your magic wand. And before you go, did you see the coin traveling there? Did you see the flash go into my hand? And everyone says yes. And what I'm saying is I saw that flash. I saw him throw it. My brain, through his leading, through his words, he changed what I perceived with my eyes. I saw the motherfucker flash. I saw that coin go through the air, but it did not happen. He guided my consciousness with his words. He made me actually see something that didn't exist. And as I've done the trick myself, everyone says yes. Well, look, and I don't know if they actually saw it or didn't. I know I did. I know my brain filled in that gap to see something fly through the air. But there's also seems to be like a pressure to say yes. Like when the magician's like, so did you see that last time when I threw it? People just want to agree anyway. Yeah. It's such a strange thing. All they have to do is say no, right? But no, not one person has ever said no ever, ever, Yeah. Oh my gosh. So yeah, because it's not the lying itself. Okay, whatever. But if you do it like a magician, or you do it in that way, you can change what people fucking experience, see with their actual eyes. It's just so crazy to me. It's unbelievable that like what we experience, what we actually see and experience is a reflection of our beliefs. Like you can see that in therapy. Like the experiment is like when we are depressed, when a person is depressed, they rate other people's facial expressions as way more negative than they actually are. And the same thing when we're feeling happy or blissful, we rate people's neutral faces as way happier than they actually are. It changes how we perceive the universe. Our beliefs change what we actually see.
Which is basically quantum mechanics, right?
Absolutely.
The observer influences what they're observing.
Absolutely. Because like the caterpillar, we're the same thing. We think the coin is different than us. We think I think you're different than me. But this is all matter. This is all God. This is all consciousness. This is all quantum energy. All that shit is actually the same thing. So yes, there's a fluidity between things that doesn't seem, as Buddhism says, that they call all of our senses the 5 poisons. the five poisons,
Huh.
because they imply a truth about reality that is false. The main one being that there is separation between objects. That is the main lie that our senses really convince us. It's a very convincing illusion.
Yeah, yeah. The grand
Of
illusion of
five
separation.
poisons.
Yeah. Huh. Huh. Yeah, and I mean, to me, this helps explain how so many things work on the realm we're talking about of like the powers that be,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
to the plebs, or Cortez to the indigenous, or the aliens to us. Like, how do they wow us?
Yes,
How do they
exactly right.
wow us
Yep.
and be like, you know what resistance is futile. Like, might as well just give them what they want, do what they want, keep them happy, and no trouble happens.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of like, wait a second, they're doing this to distract us. Like, here's the misdirection, here's the shiny object.
Yes.
While with this hand, it's like taking your wallet or taking your resources, and that's like, whether, to bring it back to the politics, whether you're Republican or Democrat, if the Democrat tells you it and you're a Democrat, then you believe it.
Yeah.
And if a Republican tells you it and you're a Republican, you believe it, and that's, or if like Israel says something, then if you're a Jew, you believe it.
Believe
And if
it.
you don't believe it, you're a self-hating Jew, and how, working on that confirmation bias, like setting up, like, you saw that, did you see that coin, that last toss? And it's like, well, yes, I did.
Of course.
It's like, did you see they attacked us?
Right. Yeah.
And, we're like, well, yes, I did.
Of course I did. Yeah.
Yeah, of
Right.
course
Yes,
I did.
exactly.
Well, clearly, justice must be served.
And you're making me think too. There's a current magician. He's really a mentalist, but it's all the same bullshit.
Uh-huh.
Who's super popular right now, named Oz Pearlman. Have you heard of him by any chance?
No, I haven't.
Okay. Anyway, and you got to check it out, because
Okay.
what he does, he's so good. He's just doing it's just perfectly exactly what you and I are talking about. He's so good at doing dumbass magic tricks. He's so good at doing it. The patter, the delivery, how the force of his personality. People think he's fucking magic. Like, people think he's actually fucking magic. You know what I'm saying? Just like when David Blaine first came out, people thought, oh my God, this guy actually can fucking float or something, right? It's like there's a way where you can get people to believe in fucking magic, right?
Yeah.
They're like, okay, before this moment, I didn't believe in magic. You convinced me. I believe in magic now.
Yeah.
I believe that you can read my fucking mind. And what you find out is that there's like 3 or 4 different ways that he's doing this. And 99% of it is just this amazing willingness, ability to lie straight
to a person,
people,
and them right in the eyes. Yeah.
And you lie and you add that with a magic trick, and people are like, okay, I believe in magic now.
Yeah, it's a confidence trick, right?
It's unbelievable. And there's some magicians who are kind of pissed at him, although he clearly states, I mean, to his credit, he clearly states these are magic tricks, blah blah blah. But when he's performing, what he says, he's like, I'm just a body language expert. I'm just like doing these things. It's so clever, because he's like, it's not really magic tricks. I'm just reading your body language.
Yeah.
Or something. He's just saying like random shit like that. It's brilliant. He honestly is a brilliant performer. I have to give him credit. But there are some magicians that hate this shit, hate it when it's usually mentalists make it seem like they're actually really doing magic, that they're actually reading your mind, or that they are literally a body language expert that can use body language to tell what you're thinking, right?
Yes.
I mean, well, that's not what's happening at all. If it was, that'd be fucking awesome. But that's
Yeah.
so not what's actually happening. It's just some dumbass magic tricks.
Uh-huh. So are they angry because they feel like he's doing a disservice to what they do?
I think it's the idea. I think, what a great question, bro, because it's similar to what I've been thinking, but I think what it is that his performance character is allowing people to believe that he does have extrasensory powers. He is allowing and on purpose, with his patter, with his delivery, that he does have kind of, it's not magic powers, it's extrasensory powers or something.
Patterns and delivery end up being almost like throwing a fishing line out, and then that fishing line eventually hooks something of a reaction or response from you, even if it's really subtle, even if it's just like a quick eyebrow raise or
no, he's not even doing that. He's saying he's reading body language. It's not. He's not reading body language. He's not. He's saying that. But then he leaves these podcasts or meeting with these pro football and basketball teams and stuff like that. And he leaves these things, and these people think he's fucking magic, that he actually has these powers. That's what magicians don't like, or some of them don't like. Some of them are like, wow, more power to you. Like, good job. Like, you're making money. You're like famous off of doing magic tricks. Like, wow. Like, holy shit. That's so fucking impressive. You know what I mean? There's always, every once in a while, David Blaine or David Copperfield or or Chris Angel, every once in a while, there's somebody who can take the same old magic tricks and package them in the way where people actually start going, wait, is this guy fucking for real?
Yeah.
Is this actual magic? And of course, for him, he of course want them to think that, right? But like some of the magicians who are pissed at him are like, that's not okay. That's like you're scamming people. You're making people believe that you have powers that you really don't, you know? Like, and so there's kind of it's an ethical gray area.
So right? Maybe they feel that eventually he's going to get found out, and then people are like, oh, I was tricked.
Right.
Like in a not good way. And then they'll just
feel foolish. They'll feel foolish.
And then that'll sour them on magic in general. And they're like, dude, you're fucking all of us over.
Yes.
And you're getting a quick buck, almost like McDonald's.
No, it's like Houdini. Houdini hated all of the spiritual mentalists because they would take advantage of people. They'd have these seances and take people's money because they're going to act like they're going to like get them in contact with their dead son or something, because they're going to like have a fake shoe that they'll
read the newspapers and find out, do their due diligence and be like, oh, was your son young when they died? And it's like, well, yes, he was.
Well, and they have like a fake shoe that then they can use to ring a bell over here with their foot. And they're like, that's your son ringing a bell. You know? And it's like, oh shit, here's $1,000. Thank you. You've relieved, like, oh, my son is in the afterlife. Thank you. You know, it's like, that once people have bought in and really think something kind of magical is going on, that's kind of a little bit of a gray area, unless it's something you go, look, I need you to understand these are all tricks. That I'm not actually special. I don't actually have magical powers. You know, that can be like really important, because you can just fool people. Because like, I guess we're saying, besides the desire to fool people, I think there's a part of us that wants to be fooled. We want to believe in magic. We want to believe that there's an ever-loving God and that there's angels that are here to protect us. There's a part of us that wants that, because that'd be fucking awesome.
Yeah. But also I think that there is something like in a way we're born into something that's a world of like materialism, right? Where it's like matter, this is real, like, but being able to, I don't know, see the future, read someone's mind, extrasensory perception, or however you want to put it, like that's not real. But it's like not as black and white as that, right? Like, no, okay. You know, like so some of us know that there's more than materialism, you know, but and I guess some of these people kind of exploit that awareness or take
Yes,
advantage of
right,
it,
right.
you know.
Yes,
And there's so we do know there's more than materialism, but there are people that are use materialism in presentation and various tactics, you know, to achieve that theatrical effect, you know.
yes,
And the theatrical effect, and in my opinion, most everything we're coming upon in politics in the world is mostly theater now. And it just seems so overtly theater. And it's always weird to me when I talk to someone like, I know you got to go in a minute, but like, you know, the other day I got into it with my dad. He brought up like Charlie Kirk, and and I was like, yeah, and I'm like, and the phony left is calling him a fascist, you know, and and I didn't really know much about him, but when I've looked into him a little bit now, I'm like, he was just going and talking to people. And he's willing to discuss and debate with people that disagreed with him. And like that seems to me like the opposite of fascism, you know? And my dad was like totally agreed. And it was like really cool. And then he's like, and Trump is a fascist, and Trump is trying to censor all these people. I'm like, yes, I agree with that. But, you know, so are the Democrats. And then
yes.
my dad was like, what? Like, what? I'm like, Dad, the Democrats have been censoring people for the past 10 fucking years, like 9 or so years, whatever. I'm like, you think this just started with Trump? And he's like, well, did the Democrats ever threaten to take away the license from NBC or whatever? You know, and it's like they take away the platform and the freedom of speech of so many people who are stating factually accurate things that just go against preferred corporate narratives. And he's like, you think they're, and he was just like, he couldn't see because he chose a side, you know, whereas I don't have a side. I'm like,
Mm,
yeah, Trump's a fascist and the Republicans aren't, so are the Democrats, you
mm.
know, but he doesn't see that because he has a side he's rooting for. And I see that as like a magic trick, you know, I see that as a type of a magic trick that you've gotten people to believe that like this hand is and this hand are attached to different bodies. You know, it's like, no, they're legs of the same fucking centipede,
Yeah.
you know, and I can't believe you don't know that, you know, and to me
No,
that's a
it's like what it's believing like one side is doing magic tricks and the other side is actually magic. And that's my side. You know, my side is actually magic, but the other side,
yeah,
they do all these tricks.
yeah, yeah,
They act like it's
yeah,
real.
yeah, yeah.
Okay, I gotta go.
Okay.
Oh, stop talking about
Yeah,
that.
awesome, man. You were on fire today. I loved it.
The coffee helped. You know what I'm saying? I hadn't had coffee until we started. All right, I'll convert it and post it. I think we're up to
Awesome.
episode 7 or something. We're on a roll, bro.
Awesome, man. I'll see you next week.
See you next week. Talk to you
All
then.
right, buddy.
Okay, bye.
Later on.
Later.